Welcome back to Off the Monster. My name is Derek. I'm here with Mr. Brown and Mr. Taylor. But it's taken a little time off. Try and settle ourselves down from this horrific playoffs in terms of who we want to win and them not winning. As we saw in the division series, Mariners lost, Guardians lost. The Padres won, but it was it was like more so don't want the Dodgers win, except for me because I want the Padres win. And then the Braves lost to the Phillies. Um, I mean, was not good for us. And then obviously looks like now we're gonna have to root for the Astros against the Yankees. That series is going well in terms of the Yankees losing, but still don't want to see the Astros win. I think that's fair. I do want to go to Mr. Taylor though, because you're in Texas. The Astros are winning. They're up 3-0 in the series against the Yankees. What's the general vibe around this Astros team? I know you don't like the Astros, but you're in Texas, so what's the vibe around this Astros team? How people feeling about them? Obviously, I would think they're pretty confident considering they're up 3-0.
The temperament is that the Astros are going to dominate and sweep the Yankees. As you said very succinctly, I loathe the Astros, but I'm a rarity here. I'm a Red Sox fan in either Astros or Rangers country, but the local media, friends and family are riding high. And the general temperament is that they'll sweep and move on and probably be the heavy favorite going against the Phillies in the World Series, because we all know now that the Phillies just won. They just beat the Padres 4-1. Bryce Harper super clutch with a 2-run go ahead home run in the eighth inning. Stuff that video games are made of. But the overall temperament in Texas right now is a riding high on the Astros. Astros got a hell of a team. This is their sixth straight ALCS, which is a record from what I remember. Just insane. I think the Braves have the overall record out of the MLB record and National League record for sure. But it's for me, I'm not rooting for the Astros. I'm rooting for the Yankees to lose. And if the vehicle happens to be the Astros, well, so be it. But I'll be rooting really heavily for the friggin' Phillies in the series. I'm going to become the biggest Bryce Harper fan that I can be for that short 7-game series. Definitely rooting because of Schwarber. Super happy for Diamond Dave. But the Astros can kiss my ass as far as I'm concerned. The rest of Texas can have them. I'll still keep my Red Sox, but for right now, we're riding high on the Phillies here in San Antonio, Texas, with the Taylor family, man.
Yeah. Um, Mr. Brown, I do want to go to you. I know obviously this kind of World Series matchup of Astros Phillies. It's looming. Phillies already clinched that series. Astros can clinch that series tonight while recording. So when this goes out tomorrow, you may know who's won that series already. The Astros might have swept the Yankees. We don't know that though. But hypothetical, because we know if the Yankees win the World Series, we're rooting against them. But a hypothetical World Series, Astros Phillies. Who you got? Well, obviously, I think everyone favored the Astros, but where's your rooting alliance in this? Are you just kind of don't really care? Is it a I want one team to win much more than the other? Where are you falling on this?
I fell in love with Schwarber when he played for the Red Sox. And for those who don't know, this is not a big man. I remember going to a Cubs and Red Sox game about 2 years ago with a buddy of mine from Chicago. Took him out to Boston, went to the Boston Red Sox Chicago Cub game. We ended up staying at the same hotel as the Chicago Cubs. We're going to the game, and who in the whole walks by us but Kyle Schwarber. And I'm not kidding. He's not that much bigger than Altuve. He is a small dude, but with immense power and a lot more likability than Altuve will ever have in his lifetime for obvious reasons. Yeah, we got it all wrong. I mean, that's why you'll never see us doing 1-900 Vegas. We got the locks. We're never going to be, I got the lock of the week. That's just not me. I'd be rich living in Miami Beach right now if that was the case, but it's not. The Red Sox aren't in it. Like you had said, Mr. Chill, I would have liked the Astros just for the case of Don Orsillo. Listen, and then I did get to hear him. That's the only problem. You get stuck with the broadcasts that you get nationally. So we didn't even get that with getting the Padres. I think Yu Darvish pitched a phenomenal game. He only pitched like I think 90 pitches. today's game. It was up. The weather played against these two teams. Any other day, it's kind of a disgrace that you had these two teams playing in that sort of weather. I mean, it was
It's because it's
absolutely
the
pouring
playoffs.
out.
It's because
Yeah,
it's the playoffs.
it's right. It's the American League Championship Series. Any other game, any other time, that game would have been at least put it in a rain delay. But they pushed through it. Bryce Harper is looking like Ortiz did about when did he put up those insane numbers?
2013, but I wouldn't go that far yet because there's someone else.
No, but he's hitting over 400. He's got 5 home runs in the playoffs. He's got over 10 RBIs. The kid's been clutch. He's everything that the Phillies and did Dombrowski sign him?
I don't think so.
I don't think he did. Yeah, I think
no, he didn't because Dombrowski was with the Red Sox when Harper signed
right
there.
Yeah, in my feelings about Dombrowski, I could go either way on that. Yeah, he comes in like a Texas tornado, Mr. Taylor, and he'll clean your farm system out. The Phillies are the 24th best, or maybe the 7th worst farm system in the league, but they're on the verge of a World Series title. If you're looking at a team that's riding high, and that's what you want going through the playoffs, a team that catches fire, lightning in a bottle, because that's what the Red Sox almost did last year. That's the 2018 is when they won, right?
Yeah. Well, that 2018 was just an absolute wrecking
that was
an
insane team.
Yeah.
Record. But last year they played outside of their means. But this team has all the potential. I'd like to see Nick Castellanos. I like Nick Castellanos. I loved him when he was with the Reds. He was a fun guy to watch. Just very energetic.
Yeah, so there's a deep fly ball into deep left field. We all know that. We all know that.
Yeah, but they are a funner team to watch. You can get behind them. They got that Rocky mentality, even though they still have one of the highest payrolls in all of baseball. So it's not like they didn't put a team together on the Oakland A's payroll. But Philadelphia. I hate to say it because I don't want to jinx them, but I don't believe in that crap anymore since we broke the jinx 20 years ago.
It feels like a little. They have a kind of like a 2013 Red Sox vibe a little bit, where it's like that 2013 Red Sox team just kind of came together.
2013 was more the Boston bombing.
No, but what I'm saying is like in terms of the team gelling though, and like how the team gels together, like that Red Sox team like gelled, and they were like almost as tight as a group as you can find. This Phillies team feels a little bit like that, where they're just that tight group where like good you can go back to the beginning, like early in the season when the Phillies weren't playing well, and Alec Bohm makes an error and he says, "I hate it here," and goes out, and the next day gets a standing ovation. He kind of gets his footing, and then like this team feels like it has the support of the fan base, but it also is a tight group, like within like their own group, and they gel very well and they mix well. The personalities work, and there's no big like kind of ego clashes there as well. So,
and I didn't mention the Yankees. 41 Ks over 3 games, under 12 hits. I mean,
it might work in the regular season.
I despise the asterisks, and I will call them the asterisks to the day I die, as much as Mr. Taylor does. But seeing the Yankees suffer immensely like they are doing right now it's just heartwarming, because they're a highly paid team, just like the Red Sox are. But pitching wins championships. Defense wins championships in football and hockey. But baseball pitching wins championships when it comes to fall baseball.
Pitching, defense, and timely hits, which now kind of is more like timely home runs, right? But like you can't just strike out 41 times in 3 games and expect to get that timely home run. Like it just doesn't happen. And
you could shrink that porch about another 10 feet. It won't help at this point. And close all the roofs you want.
By the way, Baseball Reference list Kyle Schwarber is 6 foot.
That may be inaccurate? Hold on.
Yeah, he's about 5'6" to 5'8".
No, like Altuve. What's Altuve listed at? Because I'm pretty sure like He might be listed at like 5'6", but he's got to be like 5'2".
5'4". 5'2",
Altuve is listed
5'4".
as 5'6" because I've looked at it before. And then
He's
you look
gotta
at
be
the
like 5'2",
pictures,
though.
those famous pictures of Altuve standing on second next to Aaron Judge.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like a
That's like
midget.
it looks like one of my kids holding my hand, walking through Six Flags or
Daddy,
SeaWorld or
can I get
something.
a
It's
quarter for an
ridiculous.
ice cream?
Yeah, exactly. I wish it was a quarter.
Yeah.
No, but it's like, and I do want to kind of shift to this Astros series. For me, like at this point in the playoffs, I'm just rooting for Christian Vasquez. Just
Even though they're not
Yeah,
playing him.
like
which
just
is weird. I don't know why they traded for him.
Well, I know.
because
I'll
he's
tell.
a-
Well, they wanted a good backup catcher that could hit and also be
yeah,
solid defensively.
but he's better than Maldonado.
But Maldonado has a
he's
rapport with the pitching staff. I think that's the thing. And not that Vasquez couldn't grow that, but Maldonado is so tight with that pitching staff where
but
he's essentially a
Vasquez
pitching coach.
Vasquez a better hitter by a country
Yeah,
mile.
100%. If they get into like a hitting situation or like if they get down in the series, like they might go to Vasquez if they need some offense. But that's not a team that should struggle for offense at the same time.
Yeah.
And obviously had a couple like key at bats in the game 3 against the Yankees, but with them having Maldonado behind the plate, who's essentially a second pitching coach for them, and he's so tight with that pitching staff. He's been there for a couple years now. It's in the comfortability that the pitchers have with Maldonado. It's kind of hard to pull him, but we saw Vasquez working with Christian Javier, and that's worked out well. And so it's not that Vasquez can't get it done. I just feel like they know what they have in Maldonado, and they're fine with it. But they do also know that in that back pocket, they have Vasquez. If they get down in the series and they need offense, they can go to someone who's more than capable of getting the job done in Christian Vasquez.
Is Maldonado
good?
I'm sorry. Is Maldonado? Is he a better defensive catcher than Vasquez?
Yeah.
Okay, because I know Maldonado can't hit to save his friggin' life.
No, he can't. He's good defensive balls too, but what you don't see the defensive metrics or stats for catchers, and like they are kind of close, but Maldonado's still better. But like how Maldonado really is, how Maldonado works with that pitching staff, with the Houston pitching staff, is especially too Vasquez has only been there for a couple months. So obviously it's expected Maldonado is going to be more kind of in tune with that pitching staff and all that stuff. But there's also that you don't that's not on the surface. You can't find that in stats anywhere or whatever. That that kind of feel that Maldonado has with all those guys as well. Which is probably why he's starting. Which is probably why he's starting. And the thing with the Astros, they've just given themselves the luxury of, okay, well, if we need some offense, we can roll with Christian Vasquez. If not, we already have all the offense in the world. We can roll with Maldonado and sacrifice one spot in the lineup.
But he was a big guy last night. He had a thrown out runner.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I think he went 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs.
Yeah, also had a walk. Was on base for the 2-run homer for Chas McCormick.
Yep.
Yeah, you definitely made a big part. I think it does go back to kind of comfortability with the pitching staff and all that. But I do want to also on this Astros team talk about their pitching, because their pitching is so deep. It is, and they have like 8 starters realistically. Like you have Verlander, you have McCullers, you have Framber Valdez, you have Christian Javier, you have Jose Urquidy, you have Hunter Brown in the bullpen who's a starter. There's probably a couple other guys I'm missing, but and even their bullpen's deep. You have Presley, former Red Sox prospect, actually Ryan Presley, in the back end of the bullpen, Rafael Montero, and other guys as well. Like their pitching is stupidly deep.
And that's what worries me going into the World Series, is especially you saw it today. I mean, you brought in Dave Robinson, who's about as old as me and Mr. Taylor, to end that game. I'm like, holy crap, he's got to be about 45 years old.
Dude,
I think he's about 40.
He was on the 2009 Yankees team.
I know. He was on, then he was off, then he was back on. But I mean, he's got great stuff, but
he couldn't close it out today.
No.
They had to go to Ranger Suarez.
Yeah, they I mean, he got the first out with no problem. Then he walked 2, if I'm not mistaken. And he's a 91 to 92 guy with a cutter. He was supposed to be the heir apparent to Mariano Rivera when he was with the Yankees. That didn't work out, and he wound up, I think, going to the White Sox.
Yeah,
well, that's a great thing about the World Series. If you're going to the World Series, you got 7 games left to play. anybody is in your bullpen. We've seen that. Chris
Yeah.
Sale has closed out games. So I am worried about their bullpen, but I'm not. I mean, you
They're
could
gonna put
have
Syndergaard back there. Ranger Suarez will be
Thor back
available.
there closing out games.
But like the Astros do the same thing though. That's the thing. They're like Christian Javier, go in the bullpen. Luis Garcia, go in the bullpen. Hunter Brown, go in the bullpen. We know you're starting pitchers. We need you in the bullpen.
Well,
And
it's all hands on deck in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Look, Madison Bumgarner back in I think 2012 and 14, he came out of the bullpen, if I'm not mistaken.
definitely, definitely 2014. Game 7, 2014.
You've got to get your best players into the game however you can, because there is no tomorrow. There really isn't. You can take all the time you want to recuperate in the off season and rebuild yourself before you go into spring training. But right now, I don't. This 3 days rest, this 2 days. No, get in the game. Get in the game. You're playing millions of dollars. Get up there, pony up, cowboy up, and make a run at it. And that's I think you're seeing. I kind of agree with your assessment that the Phillies have kind of a Boston Red Sox 2013 vibe about them. They're kind of gelling at the right time. They've got a good balance, and I think they're going to make a serious run in the World Series. I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park for the Astros. I just think the Yankees suck that much.
Well, the Yankees suck against the Astros. I saw a picture on social media on Twitter. I forget who it was from. I had like a grandfather that was the Astros. The dad was the Yankees, and then the Twins was the grandson. The Yankees are the Twins' daddies, but the Astros are the Yankees' daddies.
The Astros have 106 wins.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're a good team. They're a damn good team. And as much as I hate that franchise, I mean, before 2017. I've hated the Astros since I was a kid. I think the rainbow colors back that I remember from the 70s scarred me psychologically somehow as a child. I don't know specifically why I hate them as much as I do. I just know that I do. Even my earliest recollection of really hating the Astros, Mike Scott was kind of their ace, which was after Nolan Ryan, I think. So you're talking mid 80s. When Mike Scott was there, he was their big guy. But I have to respect what they've done though, because it happened in a blink of an eye. 6 straight ALCSs. That's pretty damn impressive. But if they lose this year, they're basically the Buffalo Bills of the MLB. And the Buffalo Bills went 4 straight Super Bowls without a win.
Yeah, but the Astros won.
Yeah, but the Astros at least won one. But even if even the whole cheating thing. But here's the thing though. In the history book, like there's no asterisk in the history book. Like as much as
asterisk to people's minds.
Well, yeah, exactly. But at the end of the day, history book, like Astros won it. Can't do it. Like the Dodgers in 2020. Like people go, oh, that's asterisk because it was short season, not even a full season. They still won it. Like, I know it's not the same, obviously, as the Astros and cheating, where it's just a short season because of a pandemic. But it's like at the end of the day, there's no asterisks. And like in 1919 with the Black Sox scandal? Was that 1919? There's no asterisk where, the other team essentially forfeited for you to win.
But that's it. Nobody looks at history books. They go by word of mouth. Stories that are passed down from family, from generation to generation.
Well, yeah. Well, that's how people
judge team and people. You could say all you want. I think Pete Rose, it might be outside of Ted Williams, the best player that ever played the game, but he cheated at the end of the day, whether you like it or not. I know if Jeremy was on, he'd fight me tooth or nail that he should be in too. I think he should legitimately be in, because what he did had nothing to do with his time that he's an actual player.
Yeah.
Keep him away from baseball. Don't let him in a park or whatever that looks like for the remainder of his life, but don't keep him out of the Hall of Fame. I mean, hell, even O.J. Simpson is still in the Hall of Fame.
The Hall of Fame is supposed to be for baseball history, good or bad, right? It should be a place for baseball history. Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. Maybe you put like Sammy Sosa. Like, if you think he should be in the Hall of Fame, fine. But it should be a place for baseball history, whether that shines a good light on stuff, a negative light on stuff. But the whole part of having history is to learn about it, and to understand what happened and kind of that stuff. And same thing with baseball history. Well, you're gonna look at that. Go to the Hall of Fame, and Barry Bonds is there, and if he's in the Hall of Fame,
well, that's it. He is there. Roger Clemens is there.
Yeah.
Barry Bonds is there. They're just there for games and things that they did throughout their career. Their bust of their plaque is not there, and it will never be there. But there are tons of memories from this era. Even the 1919 Yankees, they're Yankees, White Sox, they're in there. They're mentioned. Shoeless Joe Jackson is not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
his shoes are in there.
Yeah, well, it's like the thing of it's the whole thing of like there are people too in the Hall of Fame that we found out that they've done things off the field that might have been worse than like and at the end of the day, like to me, baseball Hall of Fame, it's about okay, who are the best players? If you want to put an asterisk, whatever, but like, and I feel like that's the whole thing with like the whole Houston thing, and obviously their one World Series is labeled by cheating, but at the end of the day. They still won it. They just happened to be the team that got caught because I guarantee almost every team was doing some form of sign stealing. They're just the ones who got caught.
No, the Red Sox got caught. They just got caught
Yankees
early.
got caught. Yankees got caught, but the MLB didn't want them to get caught. Yeah.
I can say this, having been around so many Astros fans down here, the thing that sticks out the most about the 2017 Astros and their cheating scandal is the brazenness of how they did it. When you can audibly hear the trash cans being beat.
Yep.
I remember a game against the White Sox, hearing the damn trash cans being thumped in the P-way there next to the dugout, and I remember the pitcher. It was a guy that actually broke there was a key witness for the MLB when they did their investigation. He was I can't remember his name, but he played
a relief
for the White Sox.
Yeah,
he was a relief pitcher for the White Sox. I remember him motioning to the catcher right after you could hear the trash can. He says, "Hey, man, they're picking up our signs, and I think they're beating the trash can in the hallway over there." And that's where it kind of I thought it was weird, but it was almost 18 months after the fact. When the MLB report came out, they said that they were doing that.
Because John Boy was the one who really kind of got the video evidence of it, right? But
and then
Mike Fiers,
we got
was
caught
on the
using
Astros team.
Yeah.
Well, Mike Fiers was
using
on
Apple
the
Watches.
Yeah, Mike Fiers was on the Astros team, and when he went to Oakland, and he was outspoken when it came out that the Astros did it. He was outspoken, like, yeah, they did it. They did cheat, and he was on that Astros team, although he was a pitcher and whatever. And I know pitchers feel differently about that kind of thing because it's only going to hurt them, whereas the hitters, they're like, it's
all joking aside, was Altuve wired? Did he have a buzzer in his uniform? You look at that picture where they try to rip his uniform off, and I think it's definitely.
Do you want me to tell you? Do you want me to tell you what the rumor is?
That it looks like he has a buzzer in his uniform. I don't think he did.
Do you want me to say what the rumor is and supposedly what Altuve said?
Sure.
He said it was a bad tattoo.
Which he has no tattoo.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that
because
was
they showed him in the off season.
He could have got it. He could have got it removed, but I get what you're saying.
hey man, I've got a ton of tattoos, and there's no way you can remove a tattoo like that quickly after the World Series, dude. He was full of shit then.
Maybe it was a picture that they had from before. No, the rumor around Altuve was, he was one of the few guys that was bothered by it. Now, bothered by it whereas it distracted him. Whether or not that's true or not, I'm not gonna say. Everyone can believe what they want. I personally don't care. I know
it's funny that we're talking about it 5 years on, but it's prevalent because they're back in the ALCS.
Yeah,
and I think that
their one World Series is labeled cheating,
and it always will be. For the I think the only time they can get true absolution is once Altuve is gone, once Bregman is gone, because I think they're really the last two big names from the 2017 season. Correa's moved on.
Yeah, say what you want about the Asterix. They have one of the best memes out right now. I think it's a T-shirt. It says, "Make America hate us again."
Oh,
Hey, if they win this year, they legitimately win.
the
I will give them that.
The reason why we hate
They-
them is because they're so good.
Yeah, and right now they're not playing that well
Yeah,
against the
1-0.
Yankees. I can say that.
1-0.
It's now
Yankees.
2-0.
Oh, 2-0. But I think, and I mean, I hate Bregman more than I hate Altuve. I don't have like hate for Altuve. I don't know why. I dislike Altuve. I don't hate him. I hate Bregman. I don't know why. I hate Bregman. Maybe because Bregman had like the most outlandish comments on it when it broke that they did cheat. I felt like Bregman was probably
Oh
the most
yeah, I remember in
outlandish of
spring
them all.
training, he was just
He was
blatantly,
awful.
yeah.
At least like Altuve was like Altuve. He sounded kind of weird, but he was also in a weird spot. But like Bregman was just like, "What are you saying?" Like,
Yeah.
but
I can't remember if I said it about Bregman, but I think I did. But I said Bregman looks like the kind of guy that steals packages off of front porches.
yeah, I remember you saying that.
So he doesn't have a likable face. He has a punchable face. He really truly does.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a damn good
he's
baseball
good.
player.
Yeah,
He's a gamer, but he just seems like he's a piece of shit.
Oh,
sorry.
another player that's left from that team, Yuli Gurriel.
Oh yeah, I can't stand him or his brother's hair. I mean, I wish I had their hair, but it bothers me. They look like y'all remember Sideshow Bob from The Simpsons? The guy that had the outrageous hair on the cartoon. That's if you don't know who I'm talking about, Stats, look up Sideshow Bob from The Simpsons, and that looks like the Gurriel brothers' hair. It's disturbing. It really truly is. It's petty, I know, but that's hey, I gotta have something to hate him for.
Yeah, that is true. I like this Astros team. Like now, especially you have guys like Jordan and Kyle Tucker and Jeremy Pena and like those guys who have kind of come up through the Astro system. I know Jordan was a trade acquisition, but he was a prospect when they acquired him. He wasn't in the big leagues. But they've replenished their MLB team with such talent and the pitching side of things and Framber Valdez, Luis Garcia, now Hunter Brown, and then their way to kind of help bullpen guys kind of figure their stuff out. Ryan Presley.
I don't know how Verlander his game is not dropped at all in the last few years. Not at all.
And it was dropping in Detroit, and then he went to Houston. They changed a couple things, and boom,
they juiced him up. Nice and good.
I mean, he's your Cy Young winner this year.
Yeah.
I mean,
at 40,
I wish it was McClanahan.
41.
I don't think he's in his 40. I think he's 39.
But it's still
I'm not 100% sure on that, but
it's still impressive.
But even his late 30s, if he's 38, 39, or 40 or 41, I sneezed last night and pulled my back. I mean, this guy is winning a Cy Young in his late 30s, early 40s. I mean, what are we talking here? The dude's a stud. I mean, he's a bona fide stud.
And it's married to
a supermodel, so he's not doing too bad, man.
Not doing bad. Also, too, something funny. Guess how old Clayton Kershaw is? Because this blew my mind when I saw it. Guess how old Clayton Kershaw is? No, younger.
Is he 32?
28?
He's 33.
Wow.
33. Yeah. Still a baby.
I saw that and I was like, whoa. I feel like he's been in the league for like 15 years.
And he's a free agent this year, but that's
he's
money
going to,
Dodgers. That's money Dodgers are going to have to lock up with. Probably
he's going to Texas. He's going to Texas and he's going to pitch for Bruce Bochy now.
Oh, sorry. Kershaw's 34, not 33. It was his age 33 season this year. But
I'll put a hit team out on him if he goes to Houston.
The Rangers.
If he goes to Houston, I'll put a hit squad out on him.
He won't go to Houston.
I'll join that squad, man. I don't want him anywhere near the Astros.
The Rangers are going to make some big plays for pitching this offseason. They're going to spend some money.
They have two great prospects.
Evaldi is a good fit for them because he's from Texas. Although I'd put big buyer beware on a Evaldi.
I mean, I want him back, but I was talking about him earlier today to my wife. The problem with Evaldi is when he's on, but unfortunately he gets hurt quite a bit. And I don't think he's good for 20 starts. Yeah, I mean his velo was down to what? He's down to what? 95, 96. Which
even
is still
less.
93,
94. This is 93, 94.
We were also talking about Chris Sale. That Chris Sale's had one good season for the Red Sox, and that was 2018. Now, granted, I will never trade 2018 for any other championship ever, because not only was it a phenomenal year and I got to go to the World Series, but 2019 was a bust. 2020 was, the pandemic year. Last year, he was hurt the entire year.
Yep.
Well,
2020 was also Tommy John.
Yeah, I was going to say he had Tommy John at one point.
Yeah.
And now we got to wrap him in bubble wrap just to get him to the damn park. Otherwise, he's going to, hurt himself.
Well, to be fair, if he doesn't take a line off his finger, you don't have the whole snowball effect of him having to train at BC, which means he doesn't have to go on his bike, which means he doesn't. But
to go back to your Texas Rangers, they're going to stock up on pitching, which I think they only need one or two guys. The reason I say that is they had Jack Leiter, this kid is a stud. He'll be up probably next year. Kumar Rocker is not that far away either, probably a year or two away. They were teammates, I think, South Carolina.
Vanderbilt.
Right. But Kumar didn't get drafted. He was drafted.
He got drafted by the Mets, and then the Mets saw his physical and went, "No, we don't want that. So we're going to give you less money." And then it was a whole
pitched in I think the Mexican League or something.
No, he pitched in an independent league in the U.S., like some independent league.
Yeah.
Then he got drafted.
Might as well be the Mexican League.
Yeah, they have the talent that's coming up. They just need some stopgap, just like the Red Sox, because they have a top 10 farm system, just like the Red Sox. They got Little Acuna coming up there. They got Acosta, Maximo Acosta down there. He's a few years away, but Josh Jung's their baseman. He's going to be a stud. He's a big dude. I'm not prospering up for the Rangers just because I feel like the Rangers always find a way to screw things up. I mean, they're the 1990 or
they're the Bills.
Yeah, the 1990 Red Sox.
No, they're the Bills. They're the Bills of the MLB.
Yeah, but they don't even make the playoffs.
You lost 2 World Series that you should have won.
The Rangers.
The Rangers lost in 2010, 2011. But the difference growing up in Texas and keeping tabs on the Rangers, I don't mind the Rangers at all. My first MLB game was, seeing the Rangers play the Yankees back in '91 at Old Arlington Stadium. They always had horses when it came to hitting. They had Rafael Palmeiro, Ruben Sierra, Paul Incaviglia. They had some really good power hitters, but their pitching was always suspect. The difference back in the 2010, 2011 is Nolan Ryan was affiliated with the team, and they had some damn good pitching during that time period. And then Nolan went away, went on to the Astros, and the Rangers have never really fully recovered. They've had some really good hitting. And look, they spent $500 million last year on 2 players. And what are they? They're position players. In Simeon and
the thing is they have the money to spend. Seager. So that's the one thing. They have the money to spend. The only reason I say they're going to go all in on pitching is it seems they're pretty fine with their kind of position players right now. It doesn't seem like they're going to go big on position players at all. There doesn't seem like there's a reason to. You have Nathaniel Lowe at first, Simeon at second, Seager at short. You have Jung at third. You have Adolis Garcia in the outfield. Like there's someone in the outfield. Catcher, they have who's the catcher? I know he's solid, young catcher. Forgetting off the top of my head.
I remember his name either.
Oh no, honestly, they got Mitch Garver actually from the Twins, so they have that. But they do have another catcher that I'm forgetting. I'm totally drawing a blank on. But like they have pieces on the position player side. Pitching, I know they have Leiter, Rocker, Owen White, but like they're a little bit away still. Like obviously they could potentially come up in 2023, but not going to be ready in the beginning of the year. And you're probably safer bets 2024, especially if they want to be in a playoff race. You're not going to be calling all those guys up. So your safer bet would be 2024 on those guys. And you get a guy on Evaldi for like a 2-year deal for Nathan Evaldi, maybe. They might go big for a guy like a Carlos Rodon, maybe. I've heard some DeGrom rumors, although I don't really see it happening. But I've heard some rumors on it. I think they get 2 starters. 2 starters.
I see Evaldi going to Texas. I think he's going to come home.
It's a great fit.
I think he's going to come back to Texas. I think he's going to do well for the Rangers if he can stay healthy. He's going to get a 3-year deal. I don't think Bloom wants to go that far on Evaldi because of his age and what he's done over the last couple of years as far as injury wise. So, I wish him the best. Thank you for 2018. Really appreciate it, but good luck in Texas next year.
Yeah. Also, too, they are losing Martin Perez. Obviously, they could resign him. But
they got him on a 1 year too, right? But he
yeah,
was an all-star this last year.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying, though. They're also potentially losing him. So that's why bringing in 2 starters makes sense. Or maybe they could even bring in 2 and retain Martin Perez, but they have options, right? And they have the money to spend to go out and make those moves and then use the young talent to add on to that big money talent they've had. Which we'll see how it works out, obviously. Corey Seager didn't have the most amazing year. Same thing with Semien, but both did start out the year slow, so who knows what 2023 looks like.
Especially Semien. I think he went something like 150 at bats before he hit his first home run, and he had 40-something the year before with Toronto. So it was definitely a weird year. Was it you and I talking about the stats via text or through Twitter about maybe Waka going to Texas? Because he's from northeast Texas.
I don't think
he's
we
another
talked
Texas
about
boy.
It. I don't think we talked about
it. I talked to somebody about it. I didn't know he was from northeast Texas until I met him when I went up to Fenway this last time with the family. Super cool dude. Super tall too. Very tall.
Yeah.
But he'd be a good fit for Texas too.
I think
I'd like to see him come back.
I'd kind of like to see a St. Louis reunion for him, but I don't see it happening.
I did have it right. Verlander is 40 years old.
He did. He is 40.
Yeah.
Yeah, signing at 40.
It is so hard to believe that Waka is only 30. It feels like he's got to be about 35 because he was 25, it felt like, when we beat him in the 2014, not 2014, 2013 World Series.
Yeah, we beat him in, I think we beat him in game 5 to win it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 100%. All right. I do want to move on to something now. We are going to be having a new segment. We're going to be doing our stats and chats later. But we have a double stats of facts. So my facts, since I'm stats, and a couple facts. We're going to do one of them now. Do one of them now, save one of them for later. Because we also have a double stats and chats actually as well.
Stats and fats? You call me
fat?
Stats
is facts.
Okay.
Stats,
it's okay if you call me fat.
Facts.
I'm big boned.
All right. I do want to get into this though. So going into the 2013 season, after the 2012 season, the Red Sox traded for John Farrell, right? And they traded for John Farrell. They also they traded Micah Vilas, who in Toronto. It's actually kind of funny. Micah Vilas.
You said they traded for a coach?
Yeah, they traded for John Farrell.
They traded for John Farrell.
Wow, I totally forgot about that.
Well, what's funny is Toronto didn't keep Micah Vilas, which is actually funny. He played for Cleveland that year in 2013 and was with Cleveland through 2015. What happened is the Toronto traded for Micah Vilas in that deal for John Farrell, where they traded John Farrell for Micah Vilas. Then literally like 2 weeks later, guess what they did? They traded him to Cleveland along with Yan Gomes for Esmil Rogers. So I think it's fair to say Cleveland won that deal.
Yeah, 100%.
Now,
100%.
However, here's the even wackier part of that deal. Red Sox traded Micah Vilas. They got John Farrell. They also got a reliever, David Carpenter. Who, guess what they did with them?
They traded Carpenter, didn't they?
They waived him 2 weeks later.
Oh, they waived him. Okay. I was gonna say I don't think he played.
No, he went to the Braves in 2013 with the Braves in 65 and 2/3 innings, 56 appearances, had a 1.78 ERA.
Jesus.
And then in 2014, in 65 appearances, had a 3.54 ERA.
Yeah, but we got a World Series championship.
Oh no, I know that, but I think it's funny though the fact that Red Sox traded for John Farrell. John Farrell's the only piece that stayed longer than like 3 weeks.
Has that happened ever before or since? Because I don't remember it ever happening before or since.
Well,
because I remember
what happened to John Farrell.
They fired him after 2017, and then
he's an analyst now.
Is he really?
I saw him earlier this year.
He's not that old.
I think I saw him on Fox Sports earlier this year doing some analytical work.
He went to go be a scout, I think, with whatever team had his son. Ended up being a scout for them for like a year, and then
I was never a big fan. Even
mean,
as
he
a
won his
pitching
first league.
coach.
I thought his son played for Cleveland.
I don't know. It was when his son was still in the minors though, so I don't know who he's with. I can't remember. It was either like Cleveland, Kansas City, or Cincinnati. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it's one of the three.
I think it was Cleveland because I remember he was not with the team, so he could see his son make his major league debut, and I want to say it was Cleveland. I'm not 100. I'm not. But that sounds really really familiar.
Well, the thing is, it was with this. It was his son. It was when his son. He was hired by that team when his son was in the minor leagues. I don't know if that team traded him, or it was actually. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know, but no, the fact that the only piece in that trade that stayed longer than 3 weeks was John Farrell as the manager for the Red Sox. Mike Aviles was traded like 2.5 weeks later, and Carpenter was released like 3 weeks after the trade.
Was he the pitching coach?
John Farrell was the Red Sox pitching coach in 07.
Yeah, I know he was a pitching coach in 07, but was he the pitching coach for the Blue Jays when he got traded
manager?
Or was he
he was their manager.
He was their manager.
That
makes it even weirder.
Well, the whole point was Farrell's contract was going to expire after 2013, and the Red Sox already had him lined up to be the manager. That's why when they got Bobby Valentine, it was a 2-year deal for Bobby Valentine, and regardless of how he did, they could have won 2 World Series with Bobby Valentine. He was done after those 2 years. Farrell's going to come in, but they did so bad in 2012, they said, screw it. We're just going to go get Farrell now. And Farrell told the Blue Jays, I want to go to Boston. So trade me or like F off, trade me. Like I'm going to Boston.
and the rest is World Series history.
Yeah.
And I'll take it.
That's so crazy. And Mike Aviles like wasn't a bad player either. Like he was a solid role player.
I liked Mike Aviles. I thought he was a good middle infielder. Definitely had one of the weirdest stances I've ever seen. But he went on to do some pretty good stuff in Cleveland, from what I remember. It was a solid guy for them too.
To answer your question, his son was Luke Farrell, and it was for Kansas City. I remember him going to Kansas City now. He's with Toronto, evidently.
Luke is still pitching?
I guess. Yeah. So is that still in Toronto.
Yeah. He pitched for Chicago and Cincinnati this year.
Luke Farrell did?
Yeah. So oh my gosh, it's wacky. He's pitched. I'll go through the teams he's been with. He was first with Kansas City, then went to Cincinnati, then went to Chicago, then went to Texas, then went to Minnesota, then went back to Chicago, and then back to Cincinnati.
So he's a journeyman.
Yeah.
Serious journeyman.
I mean, he made 18 appearances. No, sorry, that's not 18. 6 appearances this year, 2 starts. Both those starts were with the Cubs. 15 innings, a 5.40 ERA. Not good.
No.
Not bad.
No, not
like I mean, like you could have a worse career. Like you know,
he sounds like a Chaim Bloom signing waiting to happen.
That would be hilarious. Bring John Farrell back as the pitching coach.
Well, man, after the season we had, what is his name? Dave Bush.
Dave Bush.
I don't know if Dave Bush will be back.
No, he's going to be back.
He will be back.
Yeah, I think the whole coaching staff's the same. I think except for maybe like one person.
What is his name? Not Frates. The hitting coach.
Fatesy. It's
Something
Fatsy. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, Fatsy or something.
I think it's Fatesy.
Yeah, I think he needs to be gone because our offense this year was anemic, to say the least.
Yeah, he was here though in 2021 though. That's what's weird. Maybe it's because he was the co-hitting coach with Tim Hires. Mm-hmm. So maybe it was Tim Hires that I don't know. But like he was here when we were good offensively as well, so it is a little weird with that. But it was his first year; they're going to give him another year.
The biggest problem. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say Jeremy can't be on until about 9, so that's close to my bedtime.
Yeah, mine too.
For all my viewers out there.
All right, so do we want to jump into our little draft we have planned then?
Sure.
Our final round. All right. So
Get into it.
I'll explain this real quick. So there's 3 of us here. We each are gonna have 4 draft picks. Each pick we can each of us have 4 draft picks. We're gonna pick a team, a lineup of 9 players, so all your positions plus DH. Then we'll pick 2 starting pitchers and a reliever. That sounds fair, right? I think that's fair. We're gonna go in order. So we haven't determined the order yet. So we'll go in order, and everyone's gonna pick 4 players. Everyone only can pick 1 player from each of the 4 Red Sox World Series teams. So I can pick 1 player. So I can pick 1 player from 04, 07, 13, and 18. Same for everyone else. This is kind of a collaborative effort. We're gonna try and make a team together. Obviously, you can't just throw Manny Ramirez at third base. Like, can't do that. Can't throw Ortiz in center field. You gotta try and put them at like actual positions that they would play. Obviously, Ortiz would be like DH, for example, but we'll get into it. This doesn't necessarily have to be the best team. It can be, you can pick your favorite players, you can pick the best players, you can pick the worst player if you want. You can be crazy. Do whatever you want. Who wants to pick first? Mr. Brown, Mr. Taylor, who wants to pick first?
So we have to pick. We're going to pick 4 players each, and it can be from the 4 different World Series teams. Is that correct?
Yes,
That's
but
correct.
once you pick someone from one World Series team, you can't pick another person from that team.
Yeah.
However,
so if I pick 04,
like
I have to pick my 3 remaining players from 07, 13, or 18.
Now, and if you pick a guy like Ortiz, you have to.
I can't pick
what
Ortiz
year.
again.
No, well, I know, but you can pick Ortiz in 2013.
Yeah, but that's
you
not
can't.
fun.
But you can say,
because
well,
he's DH in my
no.
mind.
Well, I'm hypothetically saying if you can pick Ortiz, but you can't just say I'm picking Ortiz and then decide the year later. If you
Are we
pick him,
saying
you got to say the
Ortiz is first base? Because we don't have a DH in this.
No, we're doing
right?
a DH. We're doing a DH.
Are we? Okay.
Yeah, we're doing a DH.
So there goes one for everyone. I'll take Ortiz in 04. You take Ortiz in 07.
No. Well,
No,
okay. So you can only pick each player once. So we can't have repeating players because
yeah, there you go.
No repeating players.
Let's not do that.
So who wants to? We're gonna determine the draft order. Who wants to go
you
first?
Started off.
Mr. Taylor, you want to go first?
Sure. I'm going to go with.
Hold on. Before you go, Mr. Brown, you want to go second or you want to go third?
Yeah, I'll go second.
All right, I'll go third then. Want to do a snake draft or just keep rotating?
We'll just rotisserie draft.
All right.
Is that what it's called?
I don't know. I know snake draft and then just the regular draft.
Yeah, just do a snake draft.
Snake draft. All right. So snake draft. You know how it works, Mr. Taylor?
You start, goes to me, goes up stats, but then stats goes again, comes back to me, then goes back to you.
Yeah. So essentially, the first round is you, Mr. Taylor, then Mr. Brown, myself, and then the second round is flipped. So I go first, then Mr. Brown second, then yourself third, Mr. Taylor.
All right.
All right, I'll go with that. All right, so let's get going then. You get the first pick.
I gotta write this down, or I'm gonna forget.
Yeah, someone write this down because I'm trying to pop up my iPad as we go. So my first pick is going to be someone that hit a grand slam in the playoffs, and that is J.D. Drew. And I believe that was I think that was the 07 World Series team, and I believe he was a center fielder for us that year, if I'm not mistaken. That sound about right, Stats?
You can put him in any 3 outfield positions. I'll let you choose.
Yeah, don't take center field. That's
no.
You want to put him in left or right?
I'll put him in right because I think Manny Ramirez needs to be in left.
Well, we'll decide that unless Manny Ramirez is still on the board or not.
Gotcha.
Mr. Brown, you get the second pick. Who are you going to take?
I'm going to go with, I believe he was, remind me if he was 04 or 07, Lowe at third base. Lowell,
07.
Yeah.
Mike Lowell.
07.
Mike Lowell's 07.
Mike Levin, 07, yeah. He's one of my favorite third basemen of all time for the Red Sox. I was not a Wade Boggs fan. I thought he was a punch and Judy hitter.
I like that one. All right. Well, I'm on the board. I have the next 2 picks here. So we have 2 starting pitchers and 1 reliever. I'm gonna take the reliever, and might be a little bit surprised. I'm going 2013. I'm going Koji Uehara for my relief pitcher. My 2013, I was lining up Victorino, but because Mr. Taylor took J.D. Drew in right field, I'm gonna slide away from Victorino. I'm gonna go uh Koji in 2013. I think that's a fair pick. It was either him or Papelbon, realistically, for that one reliever spot. So
I definitely agree. I definitely agree with Koji.
All right, so I have the second pick too. Well, the first pick of the second round. So I got Koji, and then I have another pick. I don't want to steal all the pitchers, so I will go position player. I'm gonna go to. Oh, what position do I want to pick? I'm gonna go and you know what? Let's do this. I'm gonna take center field, but I'm not gonna pick who you're gonna think. I'm gonna put Mookie Betts in center field.
Okay, fair enough.
I think that's fair. He can play center. Obviously, that's my 2018 pick off the board. So I picked from the 2013 team and the 2018 team, meaning I only have the 04 and 07 teams to pick from. Mr. Brown, you're now on the clock.
I'm gonna steal Big Poppy, and I'm gonna go with 2013 because not what he did for the team, which was fantastic, but what he did for the city of Boston. You're wearing the shirt tonight. Boston strong. This is our fucking city.
That's correct.
That'll reign true in my soul for the rest of my life. What he did for this town. So 2013, David Ortiz.
Very
All
cool.
right, there we go, Mr. Taylor. You have the next two picks.
Can I pick one from the 2013 team since I picked JD Drew from 07?
You picked JD
Is
Drew
that how
from 07. So you have 2004, 2013, and 2018 left to pick from.
My 2013 guy is going to be Dustin Pedroia at second base.
That's solid. I almost went there, I'm not gonna lie. I almost went 07 though, but I figured 13 would be better, and I took Koji from 13, so I couldn't go 13. Pedroia. So Mr. Taylor, you're once again up, but before we send you up against a pick, we are halfway through. So I'll go to the draft picks. Number one pick, Mr. Taylor took JD Drew, sticking him in right field. Mr. Brown then went and took Mike Lowell at third base. I took Koji Uehara and put him in our sole relief pitcher spot. Then I took Mookie Betts, put him in center. Mr. Brown took David Ortiz at the DH spot, and then Dustin Pedroia at second base from Mr. Taylor. Mr. Taylor, you're up. First pick of the third round. Who are you taking?
I'm going to go 2004 Manny Ramirez in left field.
I think that one was the obvious pick in left field. If you're going based on just best player, I think that's probably the easiest pick there. So positions we have left, Mr. Brown: catcher, first base, shortstop, and our two starting pitching spots.
So I have to be honest. I'm gonna go with starting pitcher, 04, and it's a real toss up for me. But I got to go with Curt Schilling. What he did, the bloody sock. I don't think we win in 04 without his grit and attitude that he brought to that team. The team was stacked. Don't get me wrong, but what he did for that team, his personality, like him or hate him, he brought an end to that 86-year drought. Curt Schilling, 04.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I have the next two picks. I have 04 and 07 left on the board. So what do I want to take? I'm going to stay away from shortstop. I'll leave that to you guys because I'm hoping one of you has 2018 on the board still and taking the clear shortstop there. At least that's what I'm hoping. So I'm gonna go catcher. I'm gonna just take the safe pick. I'm gonna go Jason Varitek. Safe pick. This is gonna be my 2004 pick, Jason Varitek. I'm taking 04 to Varitek. Putting him at catcher. It just makes too much sense. I don't think there are many other options. Maybe Christian Vasquez, 2018. It was like what, Saltalamacchia in 13. He had his clutch moment in 2013, but let's be honest, I think Veritek's really the only answer at catcher. Then the only spot I have left, I have one more pick left. The only team I have left to pick from is 2007, and I have two ways I can go with this. I can either make and start the making of an all 07 infield, although Pedroia is this is the 2013 Pedroia, but it was on the 07 team. Or I can decide to go pitching. and go a little off the board.
So all we got left is first base, shortstop, and starting pitcher.
And I'm staying away from shortstop. So actually, before we go into the last round, what years do you have left? I have 2007 left. Mr.
I have
Brown,
2018, so don't worry.
2018. All right, Mr. Taylor, you have 04?
2018.
No, you have 2018.
I have 2018 because I took Ramirez. I took Ramirez left field for 04.
Yep. All right. So you have
So
both
I have
have 2018. You both have 2018 left. So I'm gonna go and take Kevin Youkilis at first base for my 2007 season. I was considering going starter and taking John Lester or Josh Beckett. But considering the 2018 teams are all that we have left, I think going first base is most appropriate and taking Kevin Youkilis. Mr. Brown, your 2018 pick is on the board. Shortstop or
I was
starting
going to
pitcher?
go shortstop, but I want to go. Do you want to go with the starting pitcher, or would you like shortstop, Mr. Taylor? Because the shortstop is obvious.
Yeah, the shortstop is obvious. The starting pitcher, I've got two in mind.
I had
toss up for me. Yeah, Chris Sale's one. Nathan Eovaldi was the other one I was looking at.
David Price is another good option.
It's another good option, but even though we lost,
so Eovaldi, he's the one who extended that game and went into the extra innings that year, right?
Yeah,
and saved the bullpen.
Yep.
Absolutely. You know what? I'd be with you if you went with Eovaldi.
Yeah, it's for between the two. What he did, I think he pitched 8 innings out of the bullpen that night.
Something like that. Yeah.
I think it was game 3, if I'm not
mistaken.
mistaken.
6 and 2/3.
Was it 6 2/3? Well, it's still extremely impressive.
Oh yeah,
he metaphorically threw himself on a hand grenade that night.
He really truly did, and it was one of the. I was flying back from Boston after watching game 1 and game 2, and that's why I think it was game 3 that he pitched because we were catching it. We were catching it kind of spotty on the Wi-Fi on the airplane on the way back. But what Sale did in 2018 was just phenomenal. Eovaldi did phenomenal during that stretch too. So if you got Sale in that position, I'm not mad at it. If you go with Eovaldi, I'm not mad at it either. I think it's a toss up.
I just figure we go in agreement. We're both in agreement with Xander at shortstop. Yeah. I'm good with the Eovaldi.
I'm good. I'm good with that too.
Yeah.
And then my last pick is for shortstop, and I'll take Xander 2018. Obviously, he's the man.
All right. I think that's a good way to put it. You got our team. Yep. I'll go take this in order from position. At catcher, we have Jason Varitek. First base, Kevin Youkilis. Second is Dustin Pedroia. Third is Mike Lowell. Shortstop is Xander Bogaerts. Left field, Manny Ramirez. Center field, Mookie Betts. Right field, JD Drew. DH is David Ortiz. Starting pitcher, Kurt Schilling. The other starting pitcher, Nathan Eovaldi, and then the relief pitcher, Koji Uehara. And Nathan Eovaldi can also act as a second reliever if you need him to. So there it is.
Now the real question is, if you hadn't have a choice, you could pick multiple years. If you could pick the whole team 04, put them on your roster. How many of those players you just rifled off would be on your team? So for me personally, I might look at JD Drew with somebody else, just because I'm not a JD Drew.
I would have gone Victorino in right field, but he's my favorite player ever.
I'm just curious. I'm looking at my list. I love Petey. I love Lowell. Love Manny. Love Mookie. Poppy. Schilling. Sale. Varitek. At reliever, it would have been a toss-up between
Papelbon and Koji.
Papelbon, no, and who's the Japanese guy?
Okajima.
Okajima. Yeah, Fukujima. And I hate to say
Tozawa. Yeah, Tozawa in 13.
Yeah, Tozawa was good too. Actually,
that's what the Red Sox need. They need another Japanese reliever. Sawamura's off the team. That's why they didn't play. That's why they didn't win in 2022. They got rid of Sawamura.
It's been so long. Who closed? I could see his face. Him
in
underarming the. What's that?
In 04?
Keith Folk.
Yeah.
I mean, he was lights out in 04.
Yeah. We're not going to bring up Kurt Kimball was never under any serious consideration, right?
No. He was horrible. They won despite Kimball.
Well, there was.
So
if
I had to go back, I would change it to Papelbon. And if I had to pick another outfielder, Johnny Damon. I just love Johnny Damon. Big fan. And I know if
I almost did
Jeremy was
Ellsbury.
I know if Jeremy was on, he would have picked Trot Nixon.
Yeah.
Oh, Trot's a good one too.
I almost went with Ellsbury. I'm not gonna lie. I almost went with Ellsbury instead of Mookie in center. I almost went Ellsbury, but because I know I did take 2013 Koji, but I would have taken 07 Ellsbury in center, but didn't really make sense.
Ellsbury was a good guy, man. He got hurt quite a bit. I mean, he's our
When he went
only
to the
30 guy.
When
Yeah,
he went to
I
the
mean,
Yankees,
when he went to the Yankees, he could go fuck himself. But I mean, he's our only 30-30 guy. He came up.
should have won MVP that year.
He should have won MVP that year, and then he was never quite the same after he collided with Adrian Beltre.
I remember that so vividly because I remember I'm making a list for us to do a thing, and we're gonna rank all the opening day starters for the Red Sox teams in this century, and so I'm looking at them, and the outfielders, it is like pathetic, the different amount of outfielders. So I'm gonna read off the outfield from like the different years, and you're gonna see this.
Right back.
Like Ellsbury in 09, no, sorry, Ellsbury in 08 was in right field with Coco Crisp and Manny Ramirez. Then in 09 it was Jason Bay, Ellsbury, and JD Drew. Then in 2010 it was Ellsbury, Mike Cameron, and JD Drew. And Ellsbury was in left. So he went right, center, left. Then he goes back to center with Carl Crawford in left, and then Mike Cameron in right. Because they didn't want to move Mike Cameron to left field, but they're going to move him to right. Idiot. Well, that was stupid. And then 2012 is Cody Ross, Ellsbury, and Ryan Sweeney. And 2013.
I gotta forget about Sweeney.
Then the 2013 was Jackie Bradley Jr. in left, Ellsbury in center, Victorino in right. 2014, they had some injuries because Mike Karp started in left field, Grady Sizemore in center, and Daniel Nava in right. And Victorino was still on that. And Victorino was on that team because he started in 2015 in right field. But yeah. Grady, imagine if they had prime Grady Sizemore. Ryan Sweeney when he was with the A's was solid. Like
if they would have had prime year Grady Sizemore like he had in Cleveland,
oh my god.
That would have been a wonderful thing for the Red Sox.
He was the Ellsbury replacement.
Yeah. I remember Daniel Bird playing center field.
It was Marlon Bird.
Marlon Bird. I remember him playing center field for the Red Sox.
Daniel Nava. I think that's who you might have been thinking of.
Yeah, I might have been, but I remember Bird
Nava
specifically.
Was 07.
No, Nava was 2013.
Was he really?
Yeah, 2013. Yeah. Well, the thing is, like I remember, like I'm looking at Red Sox outfield, and they had Ryan Sweeney, Grady Sizemore, Jacoby Ellsbury, and Carl Crawford all in like a 4-year span, and it was just like, come on. It's like imagine Carl Crawford, prime Carl Crawford, Ellsbury prime, which is 2011. Crawford raised Carl Crawford, Cleveland, Grady Sizemore, and then Ryan Sweeney with the A's, who was very underrated. I mean, like that would have been ridiculous, but obviously Sizemore and Sweeney.
Sometime before the end of the year, we have to rate our top 5 worst signings because Crawford is obviously there. Coco Crisp is up there. For me, we're
gonna have to make a team sometime of like best Red Sox team of like players in their prime who just like didn't pan out in Boston. It's like Grady Sizemore, like didn't really work out in Boston, obviously injuries and was older at the time, but imagine prime Grady Sizemore, for example.
I think the worst contract in the history of the Red Sox was Carl Crawford's 7 years and I think $142 million.
No, Sandoval was even worse.
Because that was when they 4 years and 9.
No, you know why? No, you know why it was even worse? Because they signed Sandoval, they had to put Hanley Ramirez in left field.
That's true.
Don't forget Renteria.
That was bad. Oh, that was a bad one. Didn't he ground out to end the 04 World Series too?
He did.
He did.
Then we went and signed him like the year after.
Yeah.
05, he came over to the Red Sox.
That was bad. Yeah, that one was bad. Yeah, he was the Red Sox starting opening day shortstop in 05. The Red Sox had from 03 all the way to 07, they had a different starting shortstop every year on opening day. It was Nomar, Pokey, Reese, Edgar Renteria, Alex Gonzalez, and then Julio Lugo.
Renterek.
Didn't Marco Scudero?
Marco Scudero. It was then Julio Lugo 07-08, Jed Lowry 2009, shout out Jed Lowry, and then Marco
I love
Scutaro
Jed Lowry.
Marco Scutaro in 2010, 2011. So if we want, actually, because I want to talk about Jed Lowry, I have a fun. We're gonna get into our stats as facts.
We had a little guy that went to Houston too that ended up playing well, whether he did steroids or not. Jeff Bagwell. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
Yeah,
we got rid of him for a
no-name
relief
guy.
Yeah, we got rid of him for a relief pitcher.
That was a bad trade.
Yeah.
But let's talk about a little bit about Jed Lowry, right? Jed Lowry has had a very interesting career. Jed Lowry and Josh Reddick. We're going to talk about both of them. Both of them started their careers with the Red Sox. Jed Lowry was with the Red Sox from 2008 to 2011. Goes to Houston for 2012. Then to Oakland for 2013 and 2014. Then back to Houston in 2015. Then Oakland 2016, 2017, and 2018. Then he went to the Mets in 2019, signed a 3-year deal. Only played 9 games, got injured. Missed 2020 because of injury. Then the Mets released him and then went back to Oakland for 2 years, 2021. And even this year, he was playing for Oakland. Josh Reddick started with the Red Sox in 2009. He's with them through 2011. Then went to Oakland for 2012, 13, 14, and 15. 2016 started with Oakland and was traded to the Dodgers at the deadline. And then he went to Houston for 4 years and then ended up in Arizona his last year in 2021. But what's interesting about those guys is they both were on Oakland and Houston after going to the Red Sox, yet they never crossed paths except for, I don't think they ever crossed paths, with the exception of early in 2016 in Oakland.
We got a tied ball game, guys, in New York right now, 3-3.
There we go.
It was 3-0 New York, and Pena just hit a 3-run homer off of Cortez.
University of Maine, Jeremy Pena.
There we go.
All
and
right.
he's their shortstop, right?
Yeah. Carlos Correa replacement. Now, interesting fact on Josh Reddick. Anyone want to take a guess in which year he got some MVP votes?
Josh Reddick.
Had to have been when he was with Oakland. I would say 2015, 2016.
I was thinking the same year.
It was the year the Red Sox were absolute garbage.
2012?
Yep. The year after the Red Sox traded him, Josh Reddick won a Gold Glove in Oakland and finished 16th in MVP voting ahead of Albert Pujols.
Wow. Well, I know he had like 28 jacks one year for Oakland.
He had 29 doubles, 32 homers, 85 RBIs, and a 768 OPS, which doesn't sound great, but it was a 112 OPS plus, so definitely above league average, and he was solid in the field that year because he won a Gold Glove.
I was sad to see him go because he played a good right field for us when he played for the Red Sox.
Yeah.
I thought he was a good player. I really did.
And now what's funny enough, too, Jed Lowry also had a year where he got a couple MVP votes. Anyone want to take a guess what that year was? And this was a year the Red Sox were really good. And he was also in Oakland when it happened.
Yeah. I was going to say it was in Oakland.
So he got MVP votes 2013.
Nope.
That's a lot. 18?
Yep, 2018. At 34 years old, Jed Lowry finished ahead. He finished 20th in MVP, tied for 20th with Didi Gregorius in MVP voting. Tied for 22nd was Trevor Bauer, Aaron Hicks, and Chris Sale. Finished ahead of them. Jed Lowry that year in 2018, he was an all-star. He played 157 games. He hit 267 with an 801 OPS, a 121 OPS plus. He had 37 doubles and 23 homers.
Did Nestor Cortez hurt himself?
I saw him with the trainer.
They took him out.
They took him out. I saw him walking off with the trainer. I don't know if he got hurt or I mean, he just gave up a 3-run jack. They're in a must win, so I'd have pulled him anyway. You can't take chances now. They just got caught with an upper hand right.
According to Jeff Passan, Cortez is done for the night. Velocity was down. And the last time he'd walked 3 or more was August 5th. And he struggled, I guess. Yeah. Maybe an injury, maybe arm fatigue. Could be something like that as well. So yeah, that was our first stats as fact. Anyone gonna get into the second stats as fact, and this one's also about Josh Reddick.
Oh wow. Ironic.
So Josh Reddick So this is funny about Josh Reddick. When he was later in his career, he settled on wearing the number 22. He wore it with the Astros from 2017 to 2020, and he wore it in 2021 with the Diamondbacks in his brief stint there. He also wore it in Oakland in 2015 and 2016. He also wore number 16 for Oakland from 2012 to 2014. He wore 2 numbers in Oakland. However, with the Red Sox, in parts of 3 seasons, a total of 143 games, how many numbers did Josh Reddick wear with the Boston Red Sox? 3 different seasons, 3 parts of 3 different seasons, 143 games.
I want to say he did it 3 times.
Well, how many different numbers did he wear?
Three different numbers.
Mr. Brown?
I would have went with 1, but the obvious answer seems like 3.
He wore 4 different numbers with the Red Sox.
Jesus. What is he, Jackie Bradley Jr.?
In 2009, he wore number 68. In 2010, he wore number 39 and number 46. And in 2011, he wore number 16.
Okay.
Talk about an indecisive guy.
Yeah. No rhyme or reason to those.
No.
Yeah. Well, I think in 2010 he probably got sent. He was probably up, got sent down, and then when he got sent down, like in between the time he was sent down and got recalled, they might have like traded for someone or called someone else up who took his number. So
yeah, I think
number.
Jackie Bradley Jr. wore 3 different numbers. When he first came up, he was in the 70s. I remember he was number 25 at one point, and then 19, I think, was his last jersey number before he got DFA'd.
Yeah, because he switched from 25 to 19. He wore 44 with the Red Sox in 2013. At the start of 2013, he wore 44. Then I'm pretty sure he got sent down, and then when he got recalled, he wore number 25. All the way through 2016, and then from 2017 to through 2020, and then also in 2022 when he rejoined the Red Sox, he wore number 19.
Yeah,
but that's different. That's over the course of what, 9 seasons with the Red Sox.
Yeah,
for Bradley, 4 numbers in 3 seasons is outrageous for Josh Reddick.
Yeah, that is pretty out there.
Yeah, I remember
definitely temperamental. Definitely temperamental for some reason.
I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, like how do you wear that many numbers? But hey, I mean, it was only, and what's wacky too, it was only in 143 games. So that's an average like number switch of once every 35 games or something like that.
Yeah, 35, 40 games.
So yeah,
I bet the equipment manager loved him.
Yeah, they definitely did. Now, last thing we want, so now we're going to move on to our double stats and shats. This one's an interesting one. We have one on the Red Sox and one that is not on the Red Sox. So I'll give you guys the option. Which one do you want first? Do you want the Red Sox one or the non-Red Sox one?
None. Let's end the show with the Red Sox one.
All right.
Agreed.
So does anyone want to guess who the most average Red Sox average MLB team is? The most average MLB team. It's not the Red Sox.
What do you mean is that? What do you mean by that?
Closest to 500 team in the MLB.
Closest to 500?
For their history of their club?
I'm not going to say any further. Closest to 500. Who's the most average team in the big leagues?
Rangers.
Most average team in the big leagues. I wouldn't say the Rangers. Most average team, I'll say the Chicago Cubs.
Mr. Taylor's close.
I guess the White Sox then.
The Chicago White Sox. So since August 16th of 1906, anyone want to guess what their record is?
501.
The Chicago White Sox this year went 81 and 81. You know what? And they were 500 in both the first half and the second half. You know what that means? In their last 18,064 games, their record is 9,032 wins, 9,032 losses.
That's impressive.
They're
that's very impressive.
They're exactly 500.
That's extremely impressive to be that consistently
mediocre.
500. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least you know what you're going to get with that club.
Yeah.
South side of Chicago. What do you expect? Don't
Yeah.
don't set your heights too high.
Since August 16th of 1906.
At least I got rid of Tony La Russa.
Yeah.
True
Well,
story.
now they're talking about bringing in Guillen.
Ozzie Guillen back,
Ozzie
yeah.
Guillen, which is ridiculous. Stick with
Yeah,
Cairo.
why would you go
Stick with Miguel
backwards?
Cairo, please.
Yeah, I mean, I would not bring him in, especially with the youth on that team. But you know what? They need somebody who's gonna. It seems like that's a team that can get away from a skipper if they don't put their foot down.
I thought that they hired, or they're going to hire like a bench coach or a pitching coach from either I want to say it was the Astros.
No, they're interviewing Ozzie Guillen this week.
Someone, I just saw a tweet on it the other day. I swear, because they were in the playoffs. They were still managing in the playoffs, and I swear it was from the Astros.
They might have asked
Chicago
like
White
permission interview from someone.
I mean, they're not sold. They're not that. The Ozzie Guillen thing is not done by any means.
So they're gonna. Well, I mean, the last time they won the World Series, Guillen was their manager in 05 when they beat the Astros, ironically.
Yeah, but just because La Russa managed the Cardinals in 2011 doesn't mean he's a good manager in 2022.
No.
So
the game had definitely passed it by. All right, let's finish on a high note there, Stats.
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily going to be a high note, but it's going to be more of an informational note. So Xander Bogaerts is a pending free agent this season. We all know now that he is a finalist for the Gold Glove. I mean, the fact that Jorge Mateo isn't a finalist is ludicrous because I thought he should win the Gold Glove. He's not even a finalist. But regardless of the fact, Xander Bogaerts is a finalist for the Gold Glove. Great for Xander Bogaerts. Shows his defensive improvements, and there are massive defensive improvements. Do not get me wrong. There were. But we're not going to necessarily get into that. We're going to talk about the other Red Sox middle infielder in Trevor Story. Why? Well, there's some question marks about Trevor Story. And where is he going to play next year, right? People are saying he's going to stick at second. Bogaerts leaves, move him over to short. And I have opinion on this. You guys might have heard it before. And I want to take a guess what my opinion on Trevor Story for 2023 is.
Oh, absolutely. You got to keep him at second base. His shoulder fatigue is not going to improve with age. So his range is obviously there. When he did play, he looked fantastic at second base. I'm not a fan of him, but you cannot doubt his glove. His glove is Gold Glove caliber. Second base, it's where he belongs.
I agree.
I agree with that, but I'm gonna give you why. I'm gonna give you the why, and not just the whole his shoulder, whatever, yada yada. I'm gonna give you actual numbers to back this up, and there are numbers to back it up because Statcast tracks literally everything. Trevor Story, his arm strength has only dropped in the last few years. It's only gotten worse. They really started tracking it in 2020, where that was really the start of the decline, though, for Trevor Story. But in 2020, his max throw from shortstop was 87.3 miles per hour, and his average was 82.3 miles per hour. 2021, the max dropped to 84.4 miles per hour, and the overall was 79.1 miles per hour. In 2022, at second base, he made 426 throws, max velocity on a throw. Anyone want to take a guess?
91.
79.5 miles per hour.
Damn it.
Overall miles per hour of 76 miles. Overall arm strength of 76 miles per hour. He ranked.
I would argue that you don't want to be throwing an 87 mile an hour throw into first base.
I'm gonna get
far.
To it.
So
I'm gonna get to it later, though.
Yeah, I would say you definitely downgrade your speed based on your distance.
Yeah, I guess enough.
Follow me later for more geometry tips.
But also too, like when we're talking about the maximum arm throw, though, because like
now
the maximum,
I'm talking math to the masses.
But Trevor Story was eighth percentile in arm strength this year, and for second baseman, shortstop, and third baseman, when it comes to max throw velocity, Trevor Story was ninth worst in the big leagues out of 163 infielders with over 100 throws. And when it comes to overall average velocity on his throws, he was 76 miles per hour, which ranked 7th out of 163 qualified infielders with 100 throws. It's
So I think
not good.
he needs to stay at second base.
Yeah, exactly. And also, too, if you want to sort it by second baseman, you sort it by second baseman that have made over 100 throws at second base. Trevor Story is fifth worst out of. Fifth worst doesn't sound bad, but that's out of 70. Out of
By the
on
way,
Max.
Astros just took a lead 4-3 in the third.
There you go. But I do want to bring this up because even at second base, you have a guy like Gene Segura. His average, his overall average arm strength, 86.5 miles per hour at second base. Rougned Odor, 84.8 miles per hour. Ketel Marte, 83.8 miles per hour. Jonathan Scope, who I think should win the Gold Glove at second base, 83.4 miles per hour. Andres Jimenez, 83.5 miles. I'm sorry, 83.2 miles per hour at second base.
Once again, it's all argumentative. Find me a guy that went from shortstop to second base, and I guarantee you there's a drop in mile per hour. I'm not saying his shoulder has decreased because it obviously has, and it will continue to decrease. But I obviously think that you're going to throw it slower.
Oh yeah, 100%. They normally throw it a little bit slower from second, but the fact that he ranks like right at the bottom of second baseman, and also adding the fact of his arm strength dipped massively over the last few years, and also too, even this past year, he didn't like he played second base, but even when he was like shifted, and his max throw velocity is significantly down as well. Which so even sometimes he was in that kind of shortstop kind of position, or turning double plays and you get the ball out and throw it hard to first. But it's the arm strength isn't there, right?
So you piqued my interest now. I got two questions for you, and me and Mr. Chill will talk if you can look this up. First, what is the max throw of Xander Bogaerts, and what is the max throw of the number one shortstop who leads in max throw, if that makes sense?
The max throw for infielder, that a non-first base infielder, is Christopher Morel at 102.3 miles per hour.
Holy
However,
crap,
I think
why is he not pitching?
However, that's from the outfield, but he's listed as an infielder. I'll make that caveat. However, from the infield, from shortstop, O'Neal Cruz at 98 miles per hour.
Why is he not a relief pitcher?
Christopher Morels was from the outfield, though, even though he's listed as an infielder.
I guess he could get it on target. Obviously.
Well, we're talking about but that's from a run up with the outfield, whatever. You see MLB pitchers throwing 115 with a run up,
yeah. Okay.
But what I'm saying,
and what was Xander Bogaerts? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
I haven't got to Bogaerts yet. But I want to say O'Neal Cruz at 98 miles per hour from shortstop. However, in the MLB All-Star Futures game, Mason Wynn, who used to be a two-way player, but now the Cardinals have him only playing shortstop. In the Futures game, he threw 100 miles per hour from shortstop to first base. So yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I'm gonna look at Bogaerts.
Yeah, I think I can throw about 50 miles an hour.
There'd be some loft in my throw.
So Xander Bogaerts' max throw was 86.6 miles per hour. So 7 miles
the same as Trevor Story was.
So Story's 79.5. Bogaerts is
at second base. But you said when he was at shortstop, he was in the mid 80s.
Yeah, but that's before his shoulders started kicking in.
Yeah, okay. I'm just saying Bogaerts is not young anymore.
No, Bogaerts is not
He's 30 years old. So
Bogaerts' arm isn't super strong. It doesn't have the strongest arm ever.
But that's what we talked about that before. You sign him to a 5 to 7 year deal. Halfway, the other half of that 5 to 7 year deal, he's going to be dipping in and out of DH.
Oh yeah, no, Bogaerts is outs above average this year when you line it up based on where he's played. It's -1 at a shortstop position, 1 at a third base position, and 5 at a second base position. So by second base position, when he shifted to the right side of second base in a shift, or third base position when he's shifted towards third base in a shift against the right-handed hitter. So
yeah. Well, guys, I want to go enjoy this hopefully Yankees sweep.
All right. Anyone have any final thoughts before we wrap this up? I know double stats and shats, new segment, double stats is facts. So you get a new segment as well here. So obviously, any final thoughts before you wrap this thing up and get out of here and see the Yankees hopefully lose?
Yeah, I hope Zappy plays tomorrow for the Patriots.
He's not.
I know, but Yeah, well, as long as they. Oh, so I have an
As long as
interesting
they
stat.
win.
I have a football stat for you. Stats. So
Every time Bill Belichick has gone to
Mac
his backup
Jones has
quarterback, he's
missed.
won a Super Bowl.
Mac Jones has played 3 less games than Justin Fields, but has yet to throw one more completion than Justin Fields.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind going into the game tomorrow if you're a Patriots fan.
Justin Fields
is not that good.
Well, he's but the thing is he gets more dangerous when they allow him to run. So that's you got to look out for that if you're a Pats
But
fan.
he's not a runner. He is a
Oh no, he's not
quarterback.
a runner, but like but he's mobile enough, like moving around the pocket, get outside the pocket, make plays happen.
I hated Ohio
He's more
State, and he was a
dangerous.
great pocket quarterback at Ohio State.
Yeah, but he
I'm
had the
shocked.
ability though to break out of the pocket when it broke down and collapsed. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. That's what I'm saying. If the pocket kind of breaks down and collapse, he can kind of get out and make plays, extend plays. That's what the best quarterbacks do. Patrick Mahomes, pocket breaks down, get out of the pocket, make a play. So you don't have to be nervous.
You don't
You
live
have to
too
watch.
long in the NFL if you scramble. You take a bunch of hits, and you're
Well, that
30
doesn't mean
years old.
taking hits. That doesn't necessarily mean taking hits. That means moving out of the pocket to make a throw.
Well, hits,
So you don't get
hamstrings, groins, knees, ankles, all chances. That's why Brady is 45 years old and still playing.
But Brady could never
He
move
doesn't
in
risk
the first
running.
And to be
Take
fair,
that to the bank, kids.
Brady did not
Don't
look good
run
against the
if you can
Carolina
throw.
Panthers. Brady did not look good against Carolina Panthers.
No,
Mr. Taylor,
well,
anything
the
you
entire
want to
team looked awful, but
Final thoughts for our viewers out there. Please help us grow this this podcast. Like, share, tag, follow, turn on the little notification bell through YouTube. We're also on Spotify. Don't know if we'll ever be on iTunes, but whatever platform you're watching this, please tell your friends. If you want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram, my handle is at RedSoxFam23. Get it out there. Let's keep this thing going. We have a lot of fun with it. We hope you guys have a lot of fun with it. And that's all I've got for this episode, guys.
yeah, and if you want to buy me a drink, I live in Roscoe, Illinois, so please visit. I'm running low on whiskey these days. The job, the work, the life, reality, and the thunderstorms that are rolling in right now. So, like you said, don't forget to spay and neuter your pets also.
Yeah. Oh my God. Also,
the old Bob Barker sign off.
Yeah. Follow the Off the Monster Twitter. It'll be in the description on the YouTube video and Spotify. It'll be in the episode description and anywhere else you get on the podcast. It'll be in the episode description. So check that out. It'll be there somewhere. Find it, click on it, follow us. I think all of our Twitter should be there somewhere there as well. On the Twitter account, I think it's in the bio. So check that out as well. And follow all of us. We'll try and follow you back, but can't guarantee. We're not robots. So if we miss you, but we're going to try our best. Comment. Let us know your thoughts. Who do you think is going to win the World Series? Philly or potentially Houston if they win tonight? We'll have the World Series matchup set. So make sure to let us know in the comments on YouTube. If you're not watching on YouTube, tweet at us. Let us know. Our Twitter is all like I said, and the link is right there. So make sure to use that link and follow us on Twitter and tweet at us. Who do you think is going to win the World Series? Let us know. That's a great place to wrap it up, though. For Mr. Brown and Mr. Taylor, I'm Derek. Thanks for tuning in to Off the Monster, and we'll see you next time.